Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 80. When is the right time to start outsourcing?
Yeah, and we're not talking about your clients, when's the right time for your clients or potential clients to start outsourcing. Today, we're actually talking about when is the right time as you, as a business owner, to start outsourcing yourself. Now, this is a really important conversation to have because no one can do it alone. At some point, in order for your business to grow, you're going to have to let go of a little bit of that control and start outsourcing yourself.
Because you're not going to be great at everything. And if you want your business to be successful, there are going to be things that someone else is going to be much better at, do a far more professional job than you always kind of DIYing everything yourself. Now, in the beginning, absolutely, like we encourage you to spend as little as little money as possible to get your business off the ground and get to that point where you have those first few clients. If you can DIY stuff and use the free options before you get those first few clients, that is perfect.
Yeah, agreed. You really shouldn't be thinking about outsourcing at all until you're actually bringing in a regular income, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got those few regular clients, you're bringing in that money. And then it's kind of a decision about what is a better use of my time and how am I going to take my business to the next level? So if you're spending a lot of time doing something that you're not great at, and maybe, you might be missing filing tax returns or, there's compliance stuff that comes with having a business. And if you're not good at that, it might be time to start thinking about what is a better use of my time? Is that finding more clients, delivering the service to the clients? And it's kind of weird, right? We teach our clients to outsource these things, but then we don't think about this for our own businesses, do we?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love seeing virtual assistants outsourcing to other virtual assistants. Like, I just think it's the best thing in terms of the industry, but also I think it gives you as a business owner a kind of an understanding of what it's like for your clients when they hire you. You know, all those doubts that they have, the buyer's remorse they experience, the worries that they have, the overwhelm they're feeling, their reluctance to hand over bits of their baby to you. You can't, I don't believe anyway, you can fully understand any of those until you've outsourced yourself. So once you have outsourced and you've experienced all those things, then you're in a greater position to be able to ease that transition when you're onboarding your own clients.
Yep, you sure are. And so let's go through kind of when you've got a few clients, what are the kind of first things that you would want to outsource? And then when you're more established and you really want to level up, what are some of the things you can think about outsourcing then?
Yeah,
So
you know what?
beginning.
The first thing, the easiest thing that I think for the majority of business owners to outsource is their bookkeeping, unless they're a bookkeeper, right? Unless they're an accountant bookkeeper. The first thing that they tend to look to outsource is accounting. Now, either that's because they're not good with numbers themselves, or they don't have time, or they just generally don't enjoy it. It's also something that's easier. It's one of the easier things, I think, to let go of.
Yeah.
Because you're not connected. You're not emotionally connected to your books, right? Your finances.
Well, some people might be.
Really?
But if you can get past the someone's going to see how much money I'm bringing in or how much money I'm making, if you can get past that, it really is the simplest thing
It is.
to outsource because it's following law, it's following like things that you need to do to be compliant, and there's a process to it. So kind of process-driven things are much easier to outsource. So if numbers are not your thing, it could be the easiest thing to outsource. But don't give up actually looking at your numbers, understanding your numbers, and monitoring your business's financials
Yes.
Because you don't want to just outsource thinking, oh, I don't have to deal with that or even think about it anymore. It's not about that. It's about the administration of processing those things that you're actually delegating and outsourcing, so that you can free up your time to focus on lead generation, bringing on clients, onboarding them, doing a great job, maybe building your team, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that would be the first, and that was the first thing that I outsourced myself as well. Yeah.
And another thing is IT. So,
Yeah.
getting a professional email, getting an Office 365 account, like there are some things and some kind of professional kind of level advice and services that you might need from an IT company to like lift the professionalism of your business and kind of have your system sorted.
Yes, some of us just aren't that way inclined, are they, in terms of the real deep, complicated tech stuff? Well, for some people, that is deep and complicated. Others, it's easy and they can easily DIY it themselves.
Yeah.
We do see a lot of virtual assistants who they've been used to in their previous 9 to 5. They've had an IT department that's done all of that for them. They've never had to think about that. They've turned up at their desk on their first day at work, their laptop or their PC is all set up with all the kind of the tools that they need. Their email's been set up for them. They just have to go for it. You don't have that automatically when you are first starting out in business. So if you're not that way inclined and you want to get set up the right way, then absolutely get some help doing so. I was lucky. Mark's in IT. He does it all for me anyway. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. We partnered with an IT company pretty early on, because there's often things came up where clients needed us to get set up in their systems, and we needed an IT professional to actually do some setup kind of stuff for us, or on behalf of our client, or we had to recommend an IT company to our clients. So we partnered with an IT company pretty early on.
Cool.
Yeah, really key.
What else is on that list of when you're kind of starting out?
That's kind of the two kind of things that we're thinking of as just starting out. But then like there's kind of once you've got a regular income, you are all set up. There's some kind of key things that lifts your marketing and your kind of lead generation to the next level, right? So we love professional photography. There's going to come a point where your online presence looks DIY and you're ready to take that to the next level. And a professional, even just a headshot, really lifts the level of your online presence. So that's one of the kind of next things that you want to start to think about.
Yeah, once again, just to remind you in case you missed it, this next lot of things that we're talking about, this is if you are established and you are bringing in that regular income. This is not for those just starting out. So absolutely, I agree. First thing on that list is professional headshots for your marketing. Having those on hand makes everything else in terms of your online presence so easy. You've got plenty of photos to then use on your social media, on your website, profile pics, business cards, if you wanted to go that far, bloody sign writing. It's all about you need to be the face of your business. And in order to do that well and to wow people with your online presence, professional photography all the way.
Yeah, you find that it's easier to do your social media too when you have some really great photos that you're proud of. Sam and I noticed this when we got a photo shoot together. Once we had those photos, social media became fun and easy again. Whereas before, when we only had separate photos, we were struggling to kind of pull together social media. So you'll feel like you really lift your game on social media when you get that done.
Yeah. The next thing is, because once again, we don't recommend you getting a website straight off the bat, unless you're offering website services, of course, or maybe copywriting would be the other one. Other than that, we recommend you hold off until you are established. But that's probably then the time to think about getting a website. And if you aren't creative yourself, if DIYing your own website doesn't sit in your wheelhouse, then absolutely outsource it.
Yeah, having a really great website and having that great first impression when someone lands on your website is very important. So yeah, absolutely hire a web designer. There are lots of virtual assistants who do web design as well. I think it's a really key one because it's a really important kind of asset in your business. And that kind of then flows into the blog and copywriting, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say SEO as well. For those that have got the website, they may have DIY'd it and they're happy with it. Yeah. Next step would be SEO. Now, once again, if that's not something that you're interested in learning about, outsourcing it, which links in, as you just said really well, to copywriting and your blog.
Having some regular blog content that's going out on your website is important, and it's important for SEO too. If you are not confident writing, there are lots of people who do this as their service. So why not come up with kind of the ideas, the topics, the key points that you would want covered in that, your thoughts about, like you could do a blog post on your virtual assistant website about when is the right time to outsource. Have a look and find some topics, provide that to your copywriter with your key points, and the copywriter can come up with that content for you. And it doesn't have to be, it's not an expensive thing either.
No. Gosh, how good would that feel knowing that, if you haven't written a blog post for months, knowing that someone's going to do it for you every month or every, twice a month. That's a big weight off.
Yeah.
Let's talk about rebranding, because we recently rebranded at the VA Foundry, and I know you've rebranded a couple of times with Strictly Savvy as well. So this is definitely something that if you've been in the industry for a while now, at some point you're going to want to consider, right?
When I started, it was probably like 2 years in, I think. 2 years in, we'd established the business, got some clients, and then we realized, right, we need to get a new name, we needed to get a logo, we needed to get a website and do everything kind of properly and professionally. So that's when we hired a marketing strategist maybe who did websites and branding. It was kind of maybe like a marketing agency. But you don't have to go down that kind of route. There are kind of tiered options in terms of getting your branding done. There are lots of virtual assistants who do logos, branding. So after you've become established, you've got those first few clients, it's about leveling up your business, leveling up your online presence. And if that starts with like a rebrand, that's like the best place to start, because then everything flows on from that, right?
Yeah. Which let's talk about social media. How many of us go, oh my gosh, I've got to schedule out my social media content for the month, but I've got all this client work that I want to do, and I just never seem to have time to be showing up consistently on social media. Well, once again, if you're established and you bring in that regular income, maybe that's something that you need to look into outsourcing. Once again, you don't have to be outsourcing to a social media manager or an agency. There are virtual assistants that specialize in this, and you probably know one.
Yeah, and you made a really great point, Sam, when you said, like, I've got all this client work to do. So if you're actually billing out your time and not spending it agonizing over your social media because it's not your thing, you are going to be spending a lot more time. Let's say you would spend like 5 hours trying to come up with your social media content when someone else could do that in just a few hours. Then you've got the 5 hours to do client work instead. So that calculation, you're doing 5 hours of client work, but then paying someone for 2 hours of their time, that's a no-brainer. You've just gained 3 hours of billable time with your clients.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you got to kind of think of it like that. What can you do to free up your time, because it takes you a long time because it's not your thing? And then what can you use that time for instead? So
yes,
weigh that up.
So important. Yeah. If you are at the point in your business where you've got so much client work, which is a great thing, but you just never seem to have any time or inclination to spend the on your business stuff, then that is the biggest kind of trigger to, okay, it's time to start letting something go and give it to somebody that's actually going to do a better job than me at this point, because at the moment it's not getting done at all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.